If you are looking for a work from home job in 2025, well, I just tested 3 of these high paying jobs that I'm gonna be covering in these videos alongside my buddy Corbin and Ethan. I made $9,000 last month. Corbin made 12. And my other buddy, Ethan, it's a cool name, I know. He made $17,000 in a single month. So stick around because we're gonna be covering 2 additional jobs that you can get into. If you keep watching the video, as the video progresses, we're gonna get into higher and higher paying jobs, with the last job being the $17,000 a month job that you can get from home today in 2025 with no degree, no experience. So let's get started. So the first job starts at $5K a month and works its way up to $8.5K per month. And in this job, you're sort of using the loophole to get past a computer science degree. And the job is technical content writer. You're basically turning confusing topics into easily understandable manuals, modules, instruction packages, that kind of thing. Now, top companies like Zapier, GitHub, Twilio will pay you even more than $8.5K per month if you have experience with software and tools like APIs, cybersecurity, like development tools and stuff like that. But if you're starting from scratch, at the lowest end, you're gonna be making $5,000. So imagine you've got like some super mega complex software that is impossible for like regular human beings to understand. Well, it's your job to understand it and explain it in plain English. So your output of this is things like help guides, user manuals, and like step-by-step tutorials. You're just making stuff very easy to follow. I think if you're not really like the entrepreneur type, this is a good job because it's like a stable 6-figure job that gives you paid time off, it gives you benefits, it gives you opportunity to climb into other roles like content strategy or leadership. Companies that are hiring for this role today, right now, are companies like Zapier, GitHub, Twilio, Stripe, DigitalOcean, Atlassian, Shopify, Datadog, Canva. Plus, you're not even considering all the startups that are being created every single year that need something like this broken down to their customers and users. Moving on to job number 2, we've got a job that starts at $6K a month and moves up to $12,000 a month. And you're basically the corporate hall monitor. Your job is to make sure these companies follow the law. In all seriousness, your job is to make sure that these companies don't avoid multi-million-dollar fines because, you know, Karen in accounting didn't read the fine print in the privacy policy. And guys, I had this all the time when I worked at Cole Gordon's company as a sales rep and marketer. That company was doing over $20 million a year, and every freaking day we had to deal with the FTC, which is a US corporate entity, to make sure that like you're following the law, and if you don't, they will fine you so much money. So that company hired on a separate person or maybe a group of people that just made sure we were not getting these fines. I even knew of some companies that were doing millions that got shut down completely because the FTC basically, you know, found all these things wrong with them and made them go bankrupt. We hate the FTC, but we hate getting shut down even more. So when you think about it, what would you rather have as a company? Lose $1 million a month business or pay someone 6 to 12 grand a month just to make sure you're in compliance? On a daily basis, you would be in charge of monitoring regulations and company policy changes. You'd be responsible for creating compliance procedures, as well as reviewing audits and writing training material. Now, you do need to have legal knowledge, which varies by industry, and you also need to have hyper attention to detail with this stuff. And then finally, like just strong writing and analytical skills. Now, this is a 100% work from home role. If you're looking to get set up in it, you will need to get a certificate called the CRCM or the CCEP. But if you're organized, good with paperwork, like this is a gold mine of a job, and it's like pretty easy to get into once you get those certificates. And then once you get your certificate, you can get hired in websites like compliance.com, FlexJobs, or Remote OK. Now it's time for the next 3 jobs that I mentioned earlier that allowed me to make 9K last month, my buddy Corbin 12K, and my other buddy Ethan 17K in a single month. And the crazy thing is that all of these jobs are different jobs within the same industry. And this industry is projected to be worth $1 trillion by the year 2030. And just for you to like understand how big that is, if you take the entire movie entertainment industry, music industry, book publishing industry, theme park industry, luxury walk industry, and add those all together, that would still equal less than half of what this industry will be worth by 2030. Boom, not capping. So what is this magical industry? E-learning. That's right, packaging information that people normally pay $100,000 with school fees and tuition for and selling it for 1/10 or sometimes 1/50th the cost. People have understood this for years. I mean, probably for the last like 20 years, that if you want to learn something, like you just Google it or like watch a YouTube video on it. But now people are sort of starting to like realize that if they want to become good at something from the comfort of their own home, they should just hire a coach to teach them it. And for like 99.9% of things, the coach doesn't even need to be physically present with you, okay? Like for relationship coaching, for fitness coaching, for real estate investing coaching, he doesn't actually need to be there. Now just hold on for a second. I am not suggesting you become one of these coaches because that would require you running a business, which we've already established we do not want to do. We just want a job that works from home that like pays us fat stacks of cash. What I am suggesting is that you partner with one of these businesses, work under them in a job, and take a lion's share of their profits. Job number 3 is high ticket closing. Simply put, this is connecting with prospects over Zoom, where you sell them a high ticket package between $5,000 to sometimes $50,000 and getting paid 10 to 15% of that total deal value. So this is exactly what I did to make my $9,000 last month, but this is peanuts compared to what you can make in this position. I mean, my other friend Jared made $31,000 in this position, which is a video that I will link below if you want to watch. But the great thing about this is, again, like you can work from home. You know, I took all of those calls to make that $9 grand in random spots throughout Portugal and throughout my hometown here in Canada, over, you know, the beach and things like that. If you really wanted to focus and make a lot of money with this, you just have to like be focused and sitting down and making sure you're focused and working. Whereas me, I was traveling, I was hanging out, I was only working maybe 4 to 5 hours a day, and I was still able to make that money. And so to give you an idea again of how to make that money is like, if I am selling a $10,000 package and I get 10%, I make $1,000 on every sale that I make. And every day you might get connected with like 3 people. And of those 3 people, it's very likely that one of them is gonna close. So if you're closing 1 sale a day, 5 days a week, you can very easily make $20,000 doing this. Like I mentioned, my friend Jared made $30,000 doing this. Now, if you're looking to get hired in a position like this, my favorite spot to go to is a company called RepSelect, and I will go into the platform right now to show you real companies that are hiring today.
Okay, we are inside of RepSelect right now. I believe you can make an account on here for $9.99 a month. I don't get paid to use them. I just found a lot of jobs through this website, and I think it's a great place to go. So you can see here, there's a bunch of jobs that have been posted in literally the last week. So we're going to go through a few of them just for closing right now. So the first one here posted 4 days ago, high ticket sales closer for $175,000 a year at a company called Badass Babes. So if you click on this post, you can read more about what they do, who they service, which in this case is women who want to change their lives and make, basically get fit, okay? And OTE stands for on track earnings. So because you're not getting a salary in this position, they're giving you commission. They're saying based on what they expect you to perform at the bare minimum, you should be earning this. And if you're not earning that, they'll probably fire you because you're not performing at that level. And trust me, it's a lot easier to earn this as a closer if you've got like a couple months experience than you would imagine. So then if you scroll down to the bottom here, you can go to the website and the contact person. And so I already went ahead and checked out their company. So you can see like they're a pretty cool company. They help women in the space lose a bunch of weight, and they've been in business for quite a long time. If you scroll down right below, you can see they're looking for a high ticket closer for a company called Elevated Tech, okay? And the OTE for this is $10,000 to $15,000 a month, again, posted 4 days ago. Same thing, click into here, you can read about the company. I already went ahead and went to their website, and based on some research, it looks like they help people from like Meta, Netflix, Google, Airbnb, all of those sort of like techie coders. This company specializes in getting those people good remote jobs in other techie fields as a side income, as a side hustle. So a lot of these people are making an extra $100K a year just on a side gig doing some of their coding job, which I thought was pretty cool as well. And again, the on-track earnings for that at the very minimum is $10,000 a month. And then if we keep scrolling down here, lastly, you can see this company, high ticket sales closer for a company called Seven Figure Docs. And the OTE is $15,000 to $20,000 a month. Again, go in here, read about the company and what they do. I went ahead and clicked ahead, and it looked like they help doctors get more patients through online marketing. And they've already helped 3,000 doctors, I imagine, across the states. So your job, again, would be connecting with these doctors and closing them on this company that already has great success.
Now, what is the downside to this job? I mean, you do need some serious sales chops, okay? Most closers invest into some kind of online certification program where they build up their skill set before having these conversations. Simply because, you know, the companies are generating calls for you on their calendar for maybe $100, $500 out of their pocket. So if they're giving you 10 calls, that could cost them $3,000 just to give you those calls. And so if you're not making any sales, they're gonna fire your ass super quick. You're not even gonna get hired in the first place if your closing percentage is anywhere below 20%, which is why so many people invest into like training up front to make sure they're not hitting the fan as soon as they get hired. Now, job number 4 is exactly how my buddy Corbin made $12,000 in a month doing this. And this is something called direct message appointment setting. I made an hour-long video with Corbin talking to him, breaking down how he made this money if you want to watch that down below. But unlike how it sounds, you are not sliding into anyone's DMs. Quite the contrary. You are simply replying to people who are sliding into your DMs. You're like the bouncer of the club that basically lets people in to talk with me, the closer, or you if you get hired doing that. And you're just screening people like weirdos, go away. Cool people, come inside and talk to my buddy. That's basically your job. And I want you to think about this. Your boss, the coach that I was talking about earlier, is most likely gonna be a really famous influencer or someone who has a decent sized following. And these people who have hundreds of thousands of views every single month get thousands of DMs from people every single day. And it's your responsibility to filter out the good from the bad. Your job is also to see if these guys are serious and they have money, because you don't want to waste the time of the closers, because their time is money as well. Now, how much can you realistically make in this position? So like very beginner starter DM setters can make, you know, 2K to 3K part-time doing this. As they learn and get better, because you're paid for your performance in this position, not for your time, you can make anywhere from 5 to 12K, like my buddy Corbin, which again, you can watch that entire video down below. You know, this position is usually 100% commission. So if you have arthritis, you're cooked. You're cooked, chat. However, I have seen jobs that give you a base salary between $500 to $2,500 a month. So who's hiring and where do I apply for this? Let's hop back into RepSelect.
Okay, so we're back in RepSelect right now, and we're gonna go through some of the DM setter offers. You can see this one was posted about a week ago for a company called Ads Martum, and it's a trading offer. And so their on-track earnings is between $3,000 and $6,000. So we click in here, we can read a little bit more about the company, like that they're hiring 2 setters right now. And what they offer, as you can see here, is basically how to trade in the financial market at a high elite level. We're going to scroll down right below to this company called Lead Overload, and they're hiring LinkedIn DM setters. So the exact same job, but you're going to be DMing people over LinkedIn. So now if we click in here, we can read a little bit more about the post, and then I've already gone ahead and checked out the website. So you can see that this is a company that helps people get more clients for their company agency via LinkedIn. And you can see they've got a whole welcome video here that you can check out and read more about the results that they get for their clients as well. This company, they do not post how much you can make inside of the offer. So you would just apply for an interview and ask them on the interview. Okay, we're going to scroll down from Lead Overload down a couple spaces here to this company called Affiliate Works. So they're offering an OTE between $3,000 to $6,000. Okay. And we're going to click in here. You can see they've got an entire video talking about what they're looking for in the position to see if you have the chops and the skills to really apply, which, as I mentioned, is very low. If you're just a DM setter, pretty much anyone can get inside. And after checking out their website, you can see here that they help people make money through affiliate marketing, which has been a money-making method that's been around for at least a decade at this point. So there's a lot of experienced guys that are in this space at this point.
Now, what is the downsides to this role? So compared to closing and the next job I'm going to cover, DM setting is easily the biggest grind. You're actually going to have to work the hardest for that amount of money. And the reason for that is because like what you're going to find in really any industry or any job is the less your skill set, so the less certification, the less training, less skill set you have, the more work you need to put in to make that money. If you have a high skill set, you don't actually need to work all that hard. You know, a heart surgeon might not only need to perform like one heart surgery a month or something to make $600,000 a year. Okay, but it makes a very big impact. So for DM setters, it's a very low skill job. Most people start in DM setting and then work their way up into closing. But the good thing is that virtually anyone everywhere can get started in this position. Now, last job number 5, the job that allowed my buddy Ethan to make $17,000 in a single month doing this was phone appointment setting. Now, phone appointment setting is like DM setting's older big brother. This is a position that requires more skill set, which means you can make a lot more money in less time. So this is where you are calling warm leads, AKA people who have watched your influencer's YouTube video, submitted a form saying, "Help me." And you are the guy that calls them up and answers their questions, see if they're serious to take on the second date, and basically just doing what the DM setter is doing over the phone. So if you don't like talking to people, do DM setting. If you do like talking to people, phone setting is a great place to start. Now, just so you understand, the benefit for the company hiring someone to do this over the phone rather than over text is because over the phone, you can get a lot more information quicker than you can via text, which means you can churn out a lot more deals. It's also a lot more personable to hear someone on the other end of that line, which also drives more sales because you have more of a relationship with the customer. How much can you make on this? Base pay starts at $500 a month, up to $2,500 a month. But I've also seen companies that offer no base pay. Do not work for those companies because you're better than that. If you're watching my channel, you're better than that. Now, as an entry-level person, you're looking at like a 2 to 5K a month role to begin with in your first few months. Now, who's hiring? We're gonna go into Rep Select again to look at company.
Okay, we're back into Rep Select, and earlier I lied. I actually do get paid through Rep Select, I found out, but it's literally, it's like $1 a sign up. Okay, so it's basically nothing. FYI. Anyways, we are back in Rep Select, and we're going to find some appointment sitter jobs via the phone. And you can see here, I just filtered again by role, by phone setter and SDR, which is the same positions. And you can see 4 days ago, this is a company that's hiring 2 setters for a YouTube automation offer, and they're paying anywhere between $3,000 to $6,000 a month. Now, after clicking on this post and reading more, you can see that they actually attached their own application page here, which when I clicked on it, I could actually see that they were offering anywhere between $4,000 to $6,000 a month. And you can read a little bit about the founder named Paul, who helps people achieve freedom through YouTube and making YouTube videos, which would resonate with me because I've done YouTube pretty much my whole life. I thought it would be pretty cool. And the offer is $7,500, and you would be getting 5% of everything that you set. We're going to keep scrolling down here onto this offer here called Eco Acquisition and click inside here. And if we scroll down into the post for the OTE, you can see their on-target earnings for setters are between $4,000 to $10,000 a month USD, meaning that if they already have setters on their team, they have a setter doing $4,000, they have a setter doing $10,000. It's really just going to depend your skill set in this range. And when I clicked onto this company to see what they do, this is what I found out. They help service job people get more clients. So they probably run ads for the detailing company to get more car detailing clients. And you'd be texting and calling these detailers, plumbers, and these people who want more clients. Then I'm going to scroll down from eco acquisition, another job post down here, to appointment setter needed for real estate coaching company with a company called Property Onion. We're going to scroll down here and you can see that this is a company that sells $6,000 to $25,000 coaching programs on real estate. It offers 6 to 8% of closed sales plus $25 per qualified appointment. So every appointment you set, you're getting $25 plus 6 to 8% of what closes. Meaning that if we go back up here, most likely what you'd be getting is 8% of $6,000 and then 6% of $25,000. Do I have to do that math for you? Yes, I do. 0.06% times $25,000 is $1,500 every time you set a phone appointment that ends up purchasing this high ticket item, or you're going to get 8% of 6,000, which is $480. Now, if you're setting 5 appointments every single day, you're already getting $125. And then if one of those 5 are closing on the $6,000, well, now that leaves you with $605 every single day. If we multiply that by 5 days a week and we do that by 4 weeks, that's $12,000 right there that you'd be making as a phone appointment setter, which $25,000 might seem like a lot, but it really isn't. Like one of my other buddies, David, who was kind of trying out the skill set, we were hanging out and he's like, yeah, let me dip my toes. He basically just got his first 100 sales as a phone appointment setter. And the average deal size was $6,000, but the highest single deal size was $37,000. And he got 100 sales in between these two price ranges at those commission amounts. So you can see how that stacks up and actually adds cash into his pocket.
Now let's talk about the downsides. The only downside to this job is that you're most likely going to have to invest in some sort of training or educational certification in order to get hired in one of these positions. Now, my channel focuses a lot around this topic, so you could honestly just binge a ton of my videos and use that as your aid to practice and learn that can get your first foot in the door with some of these companies. And that'll actually help you during the application process, because you can say like, look, I've invested 10 to 15 hours watching YouTube videos on Ethan E's channel, learning the basics here, and that's gonna help you significantly. And trust me, I've had setters apply to my company, like tons of them, and I always look for this. Now, when I first got started in work from home, make money online jobs, it took me 2 full years before I made my first dime online. Okay, it wasn't until I worked under a mentor for free, like I didn't pay him anything, that I was able to get coached up and make $250K in my very first year in this new sort of industry at 21 years old. So if you're looking for a similar mentor who can guide you along this journey and sort of hold your hand, then click the first link down in the bio to get set up with a full guide and training. Okay, bye.
We're here in Switzerland.